Hello, Jan.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I am doing fabulous also. So we just have two fabulous people on the camera, right?
Fabulous.
Well, listen, it is so wonderful to meet you. I am Kimberly, and I will be interviewing you, or we'll be having conversation this evening and getting to know you a little better, and also just to congratulate you again on your Lifetime Achievement Award. What an
Thank you.
awesome, awesome thing.
Thank you.
Yes. So what I'm going to do, Jan, is I'm going to go ahead and jump into our questions and get us started. And, we'll just have some fun and have some conversation. How about that?
That sounds great.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you became involved in career and technical education.
Well, I have to admit, I'm actually a product of career and technical education. I grew up in a small farming community in Idaho and went to a small school where there weren't a lot of CT options, but I was able to take some business classes there, and that really got me excited about doing something in the business world. I will admit it took me a couple of semesters at college before I realized I wanted to be a teacher. Like that was really where my calling is. After doing an internship in data analysis, I realized that sitting behind a desk, just me, just wasn't what was going to fill my bucket. The minute I stepped into a classroom in my first practicum, I knew I was in the right place. And I've loved it ever since. I've been in education now for 23 years, and the opportunity that career and technical education provides students to really connect learning to something relevant and real that will help them in their future really is what gets me up every morning and gets me excited to come to work.
Yeah. And that's such an amazing place to be, right? We tell our students all the time that you should have a job that you love waking up to and going to every day, right?
Yep,
It's your passion job, right? And so that is so
absolutely.
amazing. Yes. Our second question is this. As someone who's been involved in the education field for several years, how has career and technical education changed throughout your career? How do you expect career and technical education to change in the future?
Well, I think the one thing about career and technical education that doesn't change is that we're always striving to help students to be ready for careers that are happening right now and in the future. I think because that's our goal, that's our purpose, that the curriculum we teach and the skills that we're teaching is constantly changing to make sure that we're up to date with what's happening out in industry. And so that's what I've seen, from what computer software I started in when I was in college and doing my student teaching to the computer software programs we have now. That's changed a lot, right? Every few years we have a different version of software. And that's the same in any career field. And now we have AI, that's a big thing, and all these automated systems. And current technical education, I feel like is just so fluid in that we want to keep up on those things and constantly be giving students the information that they need to be successful.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Just listening to what you said, like things are always evolving, right? It never stays the same, and we're always constantly evolving as educators, trying to
Right.
make sure that we provide that for them. And that's just such a true statement that you make. And so which moves me into a segues me into the next question, and that is, what words of advice, support, or encouragement would you give to teachers who may be facing some current challenges or, trying to ensure that they keep up with the changes or trying to make sure that they are providing their students with those opportunities to to be able to move into that or even motivate their students. So what are some things that you would say to your colleagues to help them with that?
So I think the biggest best advice I could give a new teacher or teacher that's struggling is to not suffer in silence. Get out and connect with others that are doing the same work. Join great organizations like ACTE and their state association, and get involved as much as you can. I tell people all the time who will tell me, "Oh, I don't have time to get involved." And I'll just rebuff that with like, "I don't think you have enough time not to get involved, because being a part of a community of professionals that are doing the same work as you really saves you time and provides this wealth of information and knowledge and support that you just can't get on your own." So often I think as teachers, we make the assumption, "Oh, well, I should just know how to figure this out. I just should just know how to do it." And we don't have all the answers, but somebody probably has went through it before. So get out, ask questions, and connect with other people, because people are so willing to help and support, because we've all been there once.
Yeah, oh, yes. It's still sometimes there,
Yeah.
right?
And that's me, like 23 years doing this. I still am like, I'll email somebody that I've met at a conference or somebody that gave a
Hmm.
presentation, and hey, could you just share that? And can I ask
Yes,
questions? Because that's how we learn and grow and stay up to date,
yes,
right? Is by
yes.
helping and supporting each other.
And you are so right about that. And so here's what I want you to think about, and I want you to share with us. So, what do you consider or hope to be your greatest legacy that is related to career and technical education?
Ooh, that's a big one. I think in my mind, what I hope I leave is connecting what's happening in the classroom with what's going on in businesses. I've been really fortunate to be in work-based learning for the last 10 years, and taking what I learned in my business and marketing and computer classroom and taking it to all career fields, and connecting these students with people in industry, and connecting industry with our students, and helping them see how we really benefit from each other, and and how the work we do is not these little silos of things. The work we do is all connected, and if we're all in it together, then we're all going to be better in the end. And so building those connections and helping people to see how much better we are together, that's what I would hope would be my legacy.
Yeah. Amazing. Awesome. And so, just from the very beginning of our conversation that we've had, Jan, just listening to you say, I started as a student myself, and I've moved from, point A to point B, and being in career and technical education, it's very clear that you're passionate about career and technical education. And so, here's a two-part question. First question is, where does that passion come from? And then part two of that question, why is career and technical education important?
I think for me, the passion to do this work is seeing the difference that it makes in these students. There's nothing better than, as an educator, years after a student stops you in the grocery store or in the mall, and Mrs. Jardine, I just have to tell you, I'm so glad that you taught me this. Now I'm doing this, and sharing what their future has been and how you've impacted them. That definitely is a win. In the I helped start the Provo Center for Advanced Professional Studies, the Provo CAPS program, a few years ago. And in our first semester, well, I guess I'll back up. That program allows students to work on projects, real projects for local businesses and community organizations in our city. And one day we had some a visitor coming to see what our program was and was asking the students, like, why did you choose to join Provo Caps? Why are you here? And one of the students raised her hand and she said, well, I am here at Provo Caps because here I feel like I matter. And like trying to hold back tears as she says that, but that's what students should feel in every classroom. And I feel so often the CTE classrooms are where students are feeling that, like, I can do this and I'm really good at this, and here I can make a difference. And that's where I feel like why I feel like CTE is important as well, is because it helps connect the learning. We're not saying students don't need math, students don't need English. Those are critical skills in any career. Can we then in the CTE classroom help students see the importance and the value of all of those skills together, to help make a better world for everybody?
Yeah. And I and again, I'm one of those who listen like very well, right? Trying to fit all of the parts to the puzzle together. And the one thing I hear you say throughout is connection, whether it's connection with peers, connection with the world, connection with your students, and then relationships. And so, and this last and final question, I want you to kind of expound a little bit because you've talked about it, but I just wanted to kind of preference that so that as you hear the question, you're like, okay, so I'm going to give you this next piece to it. So, our last question is, what part of being an ACTE member do you value most? And what would you say to someone who's considering becoming a member of our organization?
Sure. Yeah. I've been fortunate to be a member of ACTE and Utah ACTE since I started teaching 23 years ago. And I'm going to be honest, I probably took that for granted in my early years. and but as I've progressed in my career, I've really come to recognize the value that being part of a community, a part of a group of people that understands and gets what you're doing. I was just talking with somebody at the ACTE Vision conference a few weeks ago about this very thing. How do we help people feel like we feel the family that ACTE is? Because it really is a community, and there's so many people in this organization that are working hard to make us better and make things better for our students. And I love that. I love being a part of something that really is working so hard to make things better. And so that to me is the value of ACTE, and I would share that with any member. The family feel, the community feel here are all people that are doing the same work that you're doing, and come and join us, contribute, share your ideas. Sometimes we think, well, I'm not doing anything special, I'm just doing the same thing everyone's doing, and then you share and people are like, oh, I never even thought of that. That's awesome, amazing. So come share what you're doing and enrich others, and you'll take away the same anytime you get involved.
Yeah, listen, you are so right. And it does. It's like a big happy family, right? We all
Mhm.
just come together, we all share, we all give. And I think that, that's the part that make us such a unique group and individuals that make the whole part of what career and technical education is. And I think that, sometimes as you said, we don't always know the value in the very beginning, but I think that as we continue to go, then we are able to share with others about, why it's so important that we do that. And it's also really evident as to why career and technical education and your colleagues and peers saw that, you were so deserving of being named our Lifetime Achievement Award winner for this year. And we are just so proud And I'm honored and humbled that I have had the opportunity to speak to you and just learn a little more about who you are. But what I would like to do is I would like to just give you a few minutes to close and share your closing thoughts as we get ready to wrap up our conversation interview. So I'm going to hand the floor back over to you again.
Thanks, Kimberly. Um, well, I'm honored to have been given this recognition as the Lifetime Achievement Award winner. I love CTE. CTE has been my life for as long as I can remember, and I've seen it impact so many students in a positive way. And really, I've seen it impact teachers in a positive way. And I feel like the work that we're doing in CTE and making connections to what's next after high school, after post-secondary is really what's going to help our economy thrive as our students are filling the talent pipelines for the next up and coming professionals that are going to be doing the work that we all take for granted a lot of times, but the work that's absolutely necessary. So I'm grateful that I've been able to be a part of CTE, and I'm not done yet. So we're going to
Right.
keep doing the work.
All right. Well, listen, we're not going to let you go, so you can't go anywhere. Well, listen, Jan, it has been such a pleasure and such an honor having conversation with you and sharing with you this evening. And we would like to wish you and your family a peaceful, relaxing, and great holiday season. And we look forward to seeing you in at Visions next year
Yep,
at San Antonio, Texas.
I'll be there.
All right. Well, listen, have a wonderful evening. Take care and thank you again.
Thanks so much, Kimberly. You too. Bye
All
bye.
right. Have a good evening.